What's up, guys? Coach Vassar. Thank you for joining me with OTF Audio Daily Beats. As always, if you're new, appreciate you tuning in. Listen to me talk about these workouts. If you find value in them, great. Let me know. Information is in the description to support me. If you have any feedback, any comments, I'm all ears. Let me know. We're gonna break down Monday, July 7th. This will repeat on Wednesday, July 23rd. We're gonna see strength on the treads and on the rowers, endurance on the weight floor. We'll talk about the 2G, talk about the 3G. All right, so on the treads, we're gonna see one block build endurance while challenging strength, up on a slight incline that gets higher throughout the block. On the rower, we're gonna repeat a 15-stroke push row, aiming to go farther every time. Keep your stroke rate low, focus on distance per stroke. On the weight floor, it's all about endurance. Block 1 moves from bilateral to balance work. Block 2 racks up time in the high plank position to build core and shoulder endurance. You're gonna have the benches in the low bench position. And of course, you'll need dumbbells. All right, so treadmills. We're gonna see a 23.5-minute tread block. We're gonna alternate between 5 rounds of a push-based combo and then a bonus progressive incline hill climb into a 30-second all-out, okay? The setup for here, the goal is to maintain push speed, and then for the joggers and runners, for the power walkers, we're looking to increase the push incline every round by 1%. For those on the bikes and striders, they're gonna alternate between a push and base gear, and you wanna see similar heart rate response as the treads. So make sure as the heart rate goes up, they're hitting that push gear, and then hopefully they get back down to green during their base, okay? Now, the unique thing about this one is work and recovery are equal. So in round 1, 3-minute push, 3-minute base, and then eventually 1-minute push, 1-minute base. But the twist about this is every time they go back to a push, they're gonna add 0.5% to the incline for the joggers and runners. So 3-minute push, power walkers are gonna be at 4% or greater. Joggers and runners, honestly, I would keep them about 1, at most 1.5 over their base. Bikes and striders, they're gonna alternate between their push and base gears. So try to be up 3 or 4 over their base. The next round, push and base are both 2.5 minutes. Power walkers are now at 5% or more. Joggers and runners are gonna go up to 1.5%. When they go to base though, it's back to their flat road recovery, okay? The next round, 2 minutes for each with a 2% incline for the joggers and runners. The next round is 90 seconds at 2.5, and then the final round is 1 minute at a 3% incline, followed by a 1-minute base. After that 1-minute base, then they're gonna go back to a 3-minute push, but they're gonna increase their incline by 0.5% every 45 seconds. So you as a coach, make sure that you time it. So every 45, treads, add it, add. They will get back to that 3% incline for their 30-second all out at the very end. For the power walkers, they'll start at 4% incline, and then every 45, they're gonna go up by 1. So they're gonna hit the same inclines that they saw in the intervals earlier. And then of course they finish with that uphill all out at the very end. Big thing about this is even though it's very small incline work, it's still gonna challenge their mechanics. So making sure they pick up their knees, their cadence should be higher as well. So they are training for speed. So that way when they do go flat road, they could keep that cadence by increasing their speed, right? That is the overall, reasoning for incline work to get better at flat road, right? Now, when we look at the weight floor side, block 1 is 16.5 minutes. We're gonna just see 3 different movement patterns. You have an upper body push, lower body squat, and then upper body curl, okay, bicep curls. So we're gonna start with 8 reps of dumbbell shoulder presses, and then we're gonna drop 1 weight and keep the weight, and then find balance on 1 leg and do a single leg shoulder press, 4 reps, and then switch your legs another 4. So really it's 16 total reps here. We want them to go from one movement to the X with minimal downtime. So if you approach it as the idea of 16 reps, we're probably gonna go more towards like a lightweight, more so than moderate. Of course, as they repeat, they could go heavier. But the key thing is, they find that stability with the first 8 reps, and then can they stay stable as they pick up 1 leg and keep that core brace. So from the hips upward, it should hopefully look the same, right? Of course, you'll see people balancing all over the place. They might have to shift, but think about keeping those core muscles locked in tight. Eyes are kind of gazed out towards the floor, about 6 to 7 feet in front of them. and then they're really concentrating on good mechanics and controlled tempo. When they're done, they're gonna rest. And then they're gonna do a very similar idea with goblet step down squats. So they'll start with on top of the bench, they'll step down to one side, pause, squat down, come back up, other side. They have 8 reps there, 4 per side. And then they're gonna do a goblet alternating swing lunge. So for this one, they'll start with the feet side by side. They'll step forward, they step back, they come back to the center, that's 1. The next rep, step forward, step back, step to the center, that's 2. Okay, and then hit the other side. Super fun, I know. They'll rest, and then the final one is bicep curl for 8 reps, and then balance bicep curls. So just like the shoulder press, they'll do their 8 reps, pick up one leg from the hips up, hopefully nothing changes. They'll do 4 more reps, they'll switch their legs, do another 4 reps. After that, they rest, and they're back to the shoulder press, okay? Plenty of time here, plenty of opportunity for you to also check in with members because you have, the 3, 2.5, and the 2-minute efforts. When you take the treads to the 90-second flat road base, that is when the weight floor will shut down. You'll give them the breakdown for the next block, and then from the 1-minute push until the end, that's gonna be block 2 for the weight floor. On block 2 for the weight floor, it's all body weight, so they can wipe down their dumbbells, put it back. They're gonna see a work and rest add-on for 3 different movements, and then they'll head to the rower, knock out a 15-stroke push row between 20 and 24 strokes per minute before they come back. Now, the add-on is gonna be a low bench decline push-up for 4 reps. Decline push-ups are substantially harder than a regular push-up. So if people struggle with regular push-ups, to have them do a decline is almost counterproductive. You could have them do, a decline push-up from the knees, if anything, but whatever they do, the point of contact on the bench, whether it's your knees or your toes, from that point of contact to the hip, to the shoulders, is a straight line. A lot of times people will pike and bend from the hip as they drop their body down. So make sure glutes move down with them and to keep the core locked in. It's also beneficial to make sure elbows track back rather than out to protect the shoulder joint, okay? Once they finish 4 reps, they rest. And then they do another 4 reps, but then they go to the high plank jack. So with the feet up, they'll hop the feet down off the bench, pop back on. They could step down, step back up as an option. Whatever they do though, make sure core is locked in tight. So when they hop their feet down, we ideally don't see their hips sag down and create that arch. It's still neutral in a plank position. And then finally, the third movement that they'll add on is after the plank jacks, they'll go back with the feet on top. They're going to elevate one leg up and then do hip abduction. They'll do 4 on one side, back down, lift up, and then the other side. The key thing with this abduction, if you're watching the members with their feet, they want one foot to extend up, so they have that hip extension. From that elevated position, it'll slide out, it'll come back, and it'll stay up as it goes out and back. A lot of times people will just move out and back, they won't lift up first. By lifting up, you're contracting that glute muscle, so it's gonna make it easier for them to actually feel the lateral glute as the leg swings out. And then as they come back, we wanna try to keep the foot off the bench to get the most out of it, so it stays under that contracted feeling the entire time. 4 on each side, and then they rest. When they finish that third thing, then they'll head to the rower, 15-stroke push row, 20 to 24 strokes per minute. Catch your breath. I personally would have them just sit there until the water stops, check their distance, remember what that was, and then go back to the floor, and then come back. Most likely, because you only have 5.5 minutes, they will probably get through the first full round of the work and rest add-ons. They'll probably get through that 15-stroke push row. They'll get back to the floor, and they might get through most of that next round, and then get back to the rower just in time for a 30-second all-out finisher on the rower. So they might not be able to repeat that 15-stroke push row because it's a 5.5 minute block, and that's okay. With 15 strokes, hopefully members are getting, at least 150 meters. I usually tell my people like 12 meters per stroke, so 180 or so plus, solid. In fact, if you get 200 plus, even better. All right, Let's talk about the 3G. 3G, 1 block on the treads, 2 blocks on the rower, 1 block on the weight floor. So for the treadmills, similar idea as the 2G, we're gonna see everything decrease in those. So even the recovery and the work are not the same, but they both decrease. So 3-minute push, 2.5-minute base, 2-minute push at a 2% incline, 90 base, 1-minute push at 3% incline, 1-minute base, and then that 3-minute push build where they increase by every 45. So they'll hit all those smaller inclines that we did in the 2G during that build. Same goal as before, we wanna maintain the push speed. For the joggers and runners, power walkers, can they increase push incline by 1% every round? Because there's less active recovery, I would have joggers and runners use a more conservative push speed, so probably just around 1 over their base at most, because that incline is going up a lot quicker and there's less recovery, okay? Of course, they do finish the final 30 seconds at a 3% all out. Now for the rowers, 2 blocks, 7.5 minutes for block 1, 90-second recovery, which is when the treads are doing their 90-second base, and then 5 minutes in block 2. Block 1, 20-stroke push row, 20 to 24 strokes per minute. Time frame wise, it's gonna take at least 45 seconds up to a minute to complete if they do the stroke rate correct. When they're done, they're gonna have squat, cross-body, knee drive, so hands are fingertips by the temple, they'll squat down, they come up, they twist, rotate, drop back down, other side, and then that's when I would have people check their distance, clear out the screen, match your beat, okay? Use that carryover as an incentive for them to try to work harder, because that is some extra distance for them to try to get past. You know, with each row taking about a minute, and the movement taking about a minute to get off and back on, you're looking at about 3 rounds for that. Block 2, same idea, but it's gonna be a 10-stroke push row, 20 to 24 strokes per minute. So we're looking for up to 30 seconds to maybe 20-ish seconds to complete, and then 12 twist hops, and that's where like feet go one direction, bodies turn the other way, they jump and they switch. Always a very complicated movement for a lot of people. So you could always be like, hey, if you can't do it, just do jumping jacks, just don't smack your neighbor. And then repeat that. So same idea, they'll probably get 2, maybe 3 rounds in, and then they finish with a 30 all out. Now for the weight floor, luckily, it is very simple. It is just the block 1 thing from the 2G. So they're not gonna have the push-up stuff on the weight floor today for the 3G. They're just gonna see the shoulder press, the step down squat, the bicep curl with their paired up balance exercises. So shoulder press, single leg shoulder press, step down squat, swing lunge, bicep curl, balance bicep curl, and then they choose whichever primary movement that they want to do for the final 30. So shoulder presses, step down squats, or bicep curls for the last 30 seconds. Sun's out, guns out, baby. And that's a 3G for that one. As always, any feedback, let me know. Once again, we're gonna see this workout on Monday, July 7th, and then repeats on Wednesday, July 23rd. Coach it down.